Good afternoon, third grade. It's Miss Keeler. As I'm sure you've already figured out, our last type of graph is a line graph. You should have already watched the Brain Pop Junior video over line graphs just as an introduction to what line graphs really are. Today we are going to help out Pedro, the guy pictured in the picture on the screen. He just recently opened his own pizza shop, and we're going to help him keep track of his pizza sales. So you are going to create a line graph to track his sales from January to August. You should have a line graph piece of paper that your teacher gave to you yesterday. It's labeled Pedro's Pizza Sales across the top. You'll need that out along with a pencil in order to complete this task. All right, third grade. Pictured on the screen is the graph that we're going to be using throughout this lesson. We're going to graph the first couple of months together, and then you're going to finish graphing the rest of the month's pizza sales on your own. But before we even get started on graphing, I want you to notice a few things. Up here at the top is the title. And then on the sides here, there are also labels, because this tells you the number of pizzas, so you know that over here is where you're going to keep track of the number of pizzas. And then down below, it's the month of the year. As you can see, it's labeled January all the way through August. So we're going to track all of those different parts. One of the main things whenever you are using a line graph is you're going to find the part here that you're looking for, and you're going to go, say if I'm graphing January, I'm going to go all the way up, and wherever it meets the number over here, that's where you're actually going to put a dot. So this is just an example, but we're actually going to go ahead and graph the month of January in just a moment. All right, just by using this little card up here, I can see that in January, Pedro sold 90 pizzas. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to find January, and then I'm going to find 90. And it looks like 90 is my bottom number right here. So I am just going to put a dot right where the two meet. So that's how you graph the first one. You need to do this on your own paper. We're going to do one more together, and then I'm going to have you practice graphing them on your own. All right, third grade, it looks like based off of this next card right here, Pedro was able to sell 95 pizzas in February. And here's the thing, I see a 90 on this side over here, and then I also see a 100, but 95 is right in between the two. So I'm going to make my next point for 95. I'm going to find February, but then I'm going to make it right in between the 90 and the 100, because that would be 95. 95 is a number that's right in between 90 and 100. All right, third grade, over to the side right here are the two task cards that you're going to need to graph March and April. So why don't you take a second, pause the video if you need, and then go ahead and graph March at 110 pizzas and April at 100 pizzas. All right, third grade, your graph so far should have dots exactly where my green dots are on my graph that's pictured. You are going to really quickly, we're going to graph May and June's points together right here. And then I want to talk about one more thing before you graph the last 2 points on your own. But May is at 115, so I'm going to find May, and I'm going to go up here. I know 115 is right in between 110 and 120. So I'm going to put that dot right in the middle. And then June is 125 pizzas. So I'm going to find 120, 125 right here. Okay, the last thing, and maybe one of the most important things about a line graph, is that we need to connect our dots, and that's going to help us figure out the direction that our data is going. So I'm going to connect this dot to that one, and you have to connect them in the order. So I wouldn't connect January's dot all the way to May's dot. So it goes January's dot to February's, February's to March, March's to April, April's to May, May's to June. So as you can see, his sales are going up here, then they go down a little bit here, then they're going back up again. So I'm going to leave you to graph the next points on your own. I'll put those slides up in just a second, And then you're going to need to answer a few questions on Canvas about your graph. So you're going to need your graph in front of you after you've completed it. These are the last 2 months that you'll need to add to your graph. If you need to go back and replay the video, if you maybe made a mistake when you were graphing, that's completely fine, as long as your final graph is done correctly so that you can answer the questions correctly. Thank you so much for helping me help Pedro out with his pizza sales.